there answering the quiz with the answer of thorns. Okay, so question of the day, Lyle.
Mm-hmm.
This is part 3 of this week. We've been doing a 3-part series, which has been great. We had someone ask a really big question. But the last one is, can't worship happen on any day? Shouldn't it happen every day? Why emphasize the Sabbath?
This is a really great question. The interesting thing about this, in the last 2,000 years of history of controversy over the Sabbath, this question has only arisen in the last, say, 50 years or so. And what has actually produced the question itself has been a changing culture in relationship to the day of worship. You see, in past eras, up until just recent decades, when people worshipped, whether it was on Saturday or Sunday, they saw that day as a day of worship. They would go to church, they would spend the afternoon with their family, they would study their Bibles together, they would sing, they would, they would actually have a Sabbath day of rest, because the word Sabbath literally means to rest. In fact, in some churches, like the Roman Catholic Church, they had very strict laws as to what you were allowed to do and what you were not allowed to do on the Sabbath day. Of course, they were, in the Catholic Church, they were thinking that, of course, was Sunday. Now, in recent years, that has changed. And so today, when you have Sunday keeping Christians, they don't actually keep Sunday. They go to church on Sunday, and then the rest of Sunday is just like any other day. They'll go shopping, they'll go to the football, they'll watch TV, whatever movie they feel like doing. They'll take care of the yard, they'll go back and work an afternoon shift at work or whatever it might be. And so the day is not actually seen as being a holy day. Neither is it seen as being a day of rest. It's merely a day you go to church. And so if it's just a day you go to church, well then what difference does it make? Just go on any day.
Mm-hmm.
However, this is not what the Bible teaches. If we go and have a look at what the Bible says in relationship to the Sabbath, so probably the clearest passage would be Exodus 20, which is the command itself. This is, in the 10 Commandments, the eternal constitution of the government of God. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall work, you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger, which is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven, earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And so what you've got God doing here is establishing a 1 day a week JOMO. Now, you all know about JOMO, right? We've been talking about JOMO. Hashtag JOMO, the joy of missing out. And so God understood that, we as human beings would get ourselves too connected with the world, too stressed with the world, and we needed a circuit breaker in the middle of the week where we would actually switch off. We would become disconnected from the world. We would be able to relax, rejuvenate, recharge our batteries, and head back into the week again. And this has been proven over and over and over again. We have circadian rhythms that, within our bodies that follow a 7-day cycle, etc. But people are far more efficient if they actually do this. They get more accomplished in their actual lives. And so this is what God's intention was in relationship to the Sabbath. The Bible says in Leviticus 23 and verse 23 that the Sabbath was a holy gathering together. So this was a time of gathering together for worship. And that's the example that we find Jesus following when we come down to, Luke chapter 4 and verse 16, where the Bible says it was his habit to go to church or the synagogue every Sabbath day and to study the Bible there with the others who were gathered in the synagogue. And so if you look at the biblical concept of the Sabbath, then yes, God does tell us to worship every day, and we should worship every day. But there is a difference between worshiping on a day and having a day of worship. You can't have JOMO every day. If you have JOMO every day, you're not going to get anything accomplished. The joy of missing out, the joy of disconnecting from the world is where that phrase JOMO comes from. The other thing, of course, is that when God asks us to do something, God is always specific. He's never general. God didn't come to the Adam and Eve and say, you can eat any fruit of any tree in the garden. Go ahead and pick one. He chose it. And when we choose something that God hasn't chosen, it's dishonoring to God. And that's not a direction that we should be going at all.
Thank you so much for answering that, Lyle. Of course, if you have a question, give us a call here. Our number is Faith FM 1-800 Faith FM. That's 1-800-324-843. You can even text your questions to 0491 064 669. and we will answer them live on air. Stay tuned because next we are giving away movie tickets, aren't we, Lyle?
Oh, wow, absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome movie.
Especially if you're located in Western Australia or in, where is it? Queensland? Victoria and Western Australia.
Absolutely.
We're giving away tickets for your states coming up right after this song, which is Fernando Ortega. But get your phones ready. The number is the same as the other one. It's 1-800-FAITH-FM. And we'll be giving away 4 movie tickets to our first 2 callers, so 2 each.
You get to bring a +1.
Yep, to see The Voice of the
Date
Martyrs.
night at the movies.
Yes, Tortured for Christ. It's a brilliant, inspirational film. You don't want to miss this.